Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk today about how Yuri Kochiyama was not a hero, and she should not be remembered as such. She was actually a thug and a terrorist sympathizer. And Professor Diane Fugino, who's professor of Asian Studies at University of California, Santa Barbara, she's a big fan of Yuri Kochiyama, and she wrote a book about her and kind of glorified her, and that was irresponsible on her part to do. It was also irresponsible on Google's part, which Google admitted their irresponsibility and ignorance to this, and they put Yuri Kochiyama on Google Doodles one time. Like, Google will do that on Martin Luther King Day, for Martin Luther King, as they should, and they'll do a lot of American flags and things like that on the 4th of July, as they should, but they should have not glorified Yuri Kochiyama on the day she passed away. You don't want to wish anybody to pass away, but she was not a glorious figure. We're talking about Yuri Kochiyama, okay? During the Civil Rights Movement, she did some good things. She went down to Mississippi to protest, and she should have. She was the main force and peaceful force in this situation in getting Ronald Reagan to sign the bill to address reparations for the Japanese Americans that were incarcerated. The Japanese Americans that were incarcerated, they were given $20,000 and an apology, and Yuri Kochiyama helped push that through. And where she went off the bandwagon is where, when 9/11 happened, she said she admired Osama Bin Ladin and that Osama Bin Ladin was like a hero. And she said that the U.S. war on terror is a prelude for the U.S. taking over the world, which is not true, okay? During the Iraq War, when Saddam was ousted, whether if you agree with the Iraq War or not, we didn't take the oil. We turned the oil over to the new Iraqi government. We took it temporarily until Iraq had a new government set in place, then we turned the oil over to the Iraqis. Somebody who is trying to take over the world does not do that, okay? The U.S. didn't, when they went in to attack the terrorists in Afghanistan, they didn't have to feed Afghanistan's children and have airdrops for food and for medical supplies, but the U.S. government chose to do that. That's not somebody who's trying to take over the world, okay? And Yuri Kochiyama missed that. And then admiring Osama Bin Ladin, okay? Osama Bin Ladin and his organization, Al-Qaeda, they vow to not have any peace unless everybody on the planet converts to their version of Islam. That is a terrorist. That is not a hero. I mean, they vow to, and Osama Bin Laden said, basically that's the duty of every Muslim to do, which is not true. Okay, so that's irresponsible and thuggish on Yuri Kochiyama's part. She also has had relationships and interviews with members of the FALN, and that is an undemocratic Puerto Rican terrorist organization. Only 5% of the island of Puerto Rico wants to be independent from the United States. The other 95% want to belong to the U.S. Now, there is a disagreement if they want to be a U.S. state or stay a U.S. territory. But most of them want to stay as part of the United States. And the FALN cannot stand that, and they have held the Statue of Liberty hostage one time. They have participated in several bombings in the 70s and the 80s and have killed innocent people. And Yuri Kochiyama sympathized with that group. And basically, what the Puerto Rican Independence Party will do is that they'll go to the UN Decolonization Committee and try to get the UN to make Puerto Rico independent, even though 95% of the country, 95% of the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico does not want to be an independent country. That's undemocratic and that's irresponsible, okay? To do something like that. So, no, Yuri Kochiyama was not a hero. And if the U.S. government was a terrorist organization, why did they compensate the Japanese Americans that were wrongfully interned? Terrorist organizations do not do that. Okay, Germany participated in one of the worst atrocities in mankind with the Holocaust, but now they compensate the Holocaust victims. Nobody calls Germany a terrorist country or terrorist state, and nor should they, because Germany doesn't do that stuff anymore. Germany has helped the U.S. in Afghanistan. The German special forces that did amazing things in Afghanistan. And nobody would say Germany's still taking over the world now, because they're not. And nor should anybody say anything like that. So it's just irresponsible to say the same thing about America, because America would not be a terrorist state or a terrorist country if they gave the Japanese Americans reparations. If America was a terrorist country, they would have killed Yuri Kochiyama for bringing up the reparations issue. And if they were a terrorist country, they would have killed and executed Yuri Kochiyama for saying she admired Osama Bin Ladin, when Osama was technically our enemy. But America didn't do that. So Yuri Kochiyama needed to not say all that, and Diane Pugino needs to stop glorifying her. I'm going to make further videos in regards to this, but this is a start. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.